I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of Mattel's Back to the Future 2 Hoverboard. That's right, a brand new prop replica from Mattel. Now, this is not Mattel's first prop replica. They've already done two from their Ghostbusters line. First, we had the PKE meter, and following that was the Ghost Trap, and both of those turned out pretty cool. So, did the hoverboard turn out just as cool as those? Well, we're going to take a look at it today, and we're going to find out. Now, I know that there has been some controversy around how the final product of the hoverboard has turned out versus what the prototype looked like and what Mattel had promised. So, what my goal is in this video is to show you this hoverboard through and through. We'll take close looks at the design of the hoverboard, the stickers that are used on it, how the whole thing turned out in the final product. We'll play with the action features, and that way you guys can make a final decision on if this is something you want to purchase when it goes on sale December 3rd. So, before we get into that, some of the cool Mattel specs that they've got out there for this thing are as follows. They mention that they designed this prop replica in conjunction with special effects supervisor Michael Lantieri, who was a prop maker and special effects specialist, along with Mary Ann Lantieri and the co-producer and co-writer of the Back to the Future trilogy, Bob Gale, and it is fully sanctioned by Universal Studios. Now, this is a one-to-one prop model, which means it's actually life-size. It's the same size as the one that was used in the film. It measures about 28 inches long, and what's really cool is one of the interesting tidbits of information Mattel put out there is that there were about 30 actual props used in the film for the one hoverboard, and they did all have some variations between them. So basically what Mattel says they did is they took the best elements of those 30 props to make this one prop replica that is offered for sale. And to top that off, it is also complete with some authentic whooshing sounds that come right out of the Back to the Future movie. So we're going to take a look at all of this up close and personal. So first things first, when you get it in the mail, it's going to come in this large white mailer box. Just has hoverboard written right there across it. If you've ever gotten anything from Mattel before, this is, no surprise. Pretty much everything you order from Matty Collector comes in a white mailer box like this, which is nice because it will help protect the actual inner box, which looks like this. Now, one of the things I think is really great about the hoverboard box is that Mattel did that cool thing where they designed it to look like a box for the actual hoverboard product, the actual working one. So, say we're in the future, in Back to the Future 2, and we walk into a futuristic toy store, this is the box that the hoverboard would have come in. It's got some fantastic artwork on the front of a little girl enjoying her pink hoverboard, because if you remember in the movie, Marty took the hoverboard from little girl who was using it, so it's definitely the girl's version of the hoverboard. It's got the cool pink designs all over the box. You got the Only From Mattel logo at the bottom. And then for the prop replica piece of this up at the top, it does note that it is for the adult collector. Now, I really like the back of the box because, again, it follows that model of being a design like it's an actual product box. So you can see that it's got little specs on the back telling you what some of the features of the hoverboard are. Polarity reversing, acceleration boosters on the bottom there, anti-gravity lift cushions. We got the safety strap for your foot. We got the velocity control pads. So that's really fun. I love the little saying up at the top, "Don't be a bojo on a bike, glide on a hoverboard." And then, of course, we got the little asterisk that goes down to the bottom that says hoverboard will not actually hover. So, just in case you wanted to get mad at Mattel for your hoverboard not hovering, it lets you know right there on the box. One of the other things I think it's fun is it does show a blue and a red version of the hoverboard, like there were different models available, but it does make sure to let you know on the bottom that it is a fantasy image. This is not going to be offered in those other colors, but just a fun little nod. Different hoverboards that might have been offered in the Back to the Future universe in the future, so pretty cool. Now, the box itself, here's one of the downfalls, I think, of the box. Unfortunately, it's not the normal flap that you can just open and pull the hoverboard out. It's the kind of flap that is glued down. And when I started trying to peel it open, the glue was so hard that I ripped up the top of the box. And I tried really hard to be real careful and rip it open nicely because I wanted the box to still be in good shape. So if I want to store the hoverboard in there, I can. And plus, it's a cool box. I think a lot of folks might want to keep the box as part of the display. So I'm not real sure why this decision was made. I think it would have been much better if it was the normal flap kind of box that you can fold open with the little insert tab. I ended up having to cut with a razor to fold the flap open, so that way I didn't completely damage the top. So something that's worth noting. Then on the inside, you do just have two styrofoam inserts, and you pull that out, and that, my friends, will bring us to the actual hoverboard. So now we've got the hoverboard out of the box. Let's take a really good look at this thing and check it out. First thing I will note is that it does have quite a bit of weight to it. It's really heavy. Not too heavy, but I mean, you think of an average skateboard or anything like that, it's slightly heavier than carrying a skateboard, and that's because of the built-in electronics and everything in there. It does add some weight to it, but it is nice and sturdy, feels very solid, doesn't feel cheap or flimsy or anything like that, which is really nice. So it's got good quality feel to it. It is a bright pink plastic, so it is modeled to look just like the one in the film. It is practically fluorescent and glowing even when it's not in the dark. That's how bright the pink plastic is that's used on there. And then all of the design along the top is done in stickers. Now the stickers are already applied, so there's no stickers you have to put on or anything like that. But all of this detailing that you see across the top of the board is a sticker. And it's just a flat sticker. There's no hollow foil or shine or anything like that to it. It's just a straight sticker with these really bright colors. You got the cool Mattel logos on there, which is nice. There's two of them right on the top. Again, straight out of the film. This was a Mattel product in the film, so that makes total sense. We've got the hoverboard verbiage going across the middle there with the yellow stripes. And then there's kind of almost like this pink texture. It's like a bubble texture that's in the sticker there. When you're far away from it, it looks really cool because it does kind of look like the board has a nice texture to it. But when you look up close, it is very noticeable that it is just a sticker on the top. You have these two lines going across the top here, which are actually made of like a Velcro material, but I assume that it's supposed to be kind of like the rougher material that you would find on a skateboard, because this is where one of your feet would go. Also up at the top you see the little hole, because that's where the handlebars would go. Now if you remember in the film, the little girl that was using the hoverboard had handlebars on it and was using it like a hover scooter, and when Marty took it, he pulled the handlebars out, used it as a skateboard. So the hole there is of course where the handlebars were before Marty pulled it out. On the lower portion, we've got this green circular piece. You can see it does have a pink strap hanging off of it. And then again, that same green, it's like that same Velcro type material we've seen at the top, which is supposed to be the grip for your foot. So this is a part where your back foot, depending on if you're right foot or left foot, one of your feet would go through there. And it does turn. You can see it rotates there, which is really cool, because that way your foot would be able to move around on there. And then this is the safety strap, which would go over the top of your foot. Now, let's get this out of the way right up front. The downfall with this is that it is not meant to actually be stood on. Of course, it doesn't really hover, so it's not like you can ride on it, but I would definitely put a warning out there and say, don't actually stand on this. It's not really meant to hold weight, and while you might be able to get away with standing on it, I wouldn't want to risk breaking it. It is a display piece only. It's not a toy. Don't try to ride it. I know it's tempting. You don't know how bad I want to just like stand on this and pretend like I'm riding, but I don't want to risk breaking it in the middle of this review here. But just so you know, you can put your foot through there. The strap is a little loose around my foot, but your foot can go on there, and you can rotate that little piece if you want to. All right, let's take a look at the bottom here. Now, the bottom of the hoverboard, we do have that same detailed sticker all the way through the bottom, so you've got the same little pink bubble effect going on. And then we do have our two little anti-gravity booster cushions, which are on either end. Now, these are done in like a gray and black color combination. You got the little red bracers that hold them in place. And these right here are kind of like a slick plastic, and if you're familiar at all with any of those little discs that you put under furniture to help move your furniture across carpet, that's exactly the same type of material this is. That's going to help with the pseudo hovering feature that this board has on carpet, which I will show you in just a minute. Now, the last thing you want to look at in the middle there, the little purple compartment, is where the batteries will go. Now, you will need a screwdriver to unscrew there. It's a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to pull that battery compartment off, and you can see a spot for 3 AA batteries. Now, this does not include batteries, so you're definitely going to make sure you have some batteries in stock before you play with this. So you pop the batteries in, you put the lid back on top and screw it in. Now here's one thing, there's no on-off switch on this. So once you put the batteries in, that activates it, which is going to activate the sound features. That I'm not sure is a good thing because the sound features are activated just by rotating the board. So as soon as I lay this board flat, we're going to get our action features. Just like that. So laying it flat, we have our movie accurate sounds, and you hear how sensitive it is too. Just rotating it downwards, you get the sound like it's turning on. That's the turning on sound. Then it's kind of just got this standard kind of hum like it's on. Now when I move it around, so it's motion based. Just moving it around gives you the whooshing noises. And this is what's really cool about it. When you pick the board upright, it turns it off. So you can hear it powered down. So I do think that's kind of a neat feature. I love how it's motion activated. Just moving it flat again is what turns it back on. And then when I pick it up straight, it turns off. So the motion sensing sounds is really cool. But like I said, I do kind of wish there was an on-off switch because obviously just moving this the littlest, it's going to turn the sound on. Now, if you leave it laying flat for a while, the sound will eventually turn off. So it's not going to just keep humming forever and ever and ever and ever. So you probably could keep batteries in there if you're going to leave this on display. There you go, see? It actually made the sound like it was on water, which is kind of hilarious. But that's what it does if you just leave it sitting flat for a while and don't do anything with it. So it does eventually power down. So you probably could leave the batteries in there if you want to put this on your shelf laying flat like this or anything like that. But since there's no on-off switch, it might be something you want to be cautious of. Maybe you don't want to leave batteries in the compartment. All right, so now that we've taken a look at the sound effects, we've heard that, we've looked at the overall appearance of this, let me show you how the actual hovering works. Now, as I mentioned, as it's going to keep turning itself on, as I mentioned, it's kind of utilizing those same type of little plastic pieces that are meant to kind of hover over carpet. So if you've got a nice carpeted floor, you can lay the hoverboard down and then just give it a little push, and it does kind of have this little floating type look across the carpet. Now it doesn't go very far. As you can see, it does kind of get to a stop. It's basically just a really nice glide across the carpet. Of course, it's not really hovering above the ground. It's not floating. But since it's got the motion censored sounds in there, every time you push it, you got the little whoosh as it's going across the carpet. Now, here's a word of warning. Don't try using this on a hardwood floor. It does not work as well. I tried using this on my hardwood floor in the kitchen. The plastic just scoots right across it. It sticks. It does not glide. And one of the biggest downfalls is that it does scuff the board on the bottom. I slid it across my hardwood floor once just to see if it would work, and I already have little scuffs now on the front little anti-gravity accelerator pad, which really sucks. So there's a word of warning. Don't use this on a hard surface. It's not meant for a hard surface. If you want to do the floating feature, you got to do it on a carpeted floor. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere, and you risk damaging your hoverboard, which you definitely don't want to do. So, I think that pretty much does it, guys. That is my look at the brand new Mattel hoverboard. Overall, I think it's a pretty fun piece. I think it does a good job of capturing the look of the hoverboard from the film. Like I said, I know there has been some discrepancies in the way the stickers were supposed to look. I do believe some of the earlier prototypes had it kind of like a shinier sticker, and they ended up going with just a flat sticker. But it does look like the hoverboard, and I think most of the casual Back to the Future fans will be very happy with the look of this overall. You know, it's really depending on how you feel about the whole thing. It's going to be totally up to you guys. I do think the action feature is a lot of fun. I like the sound effects. My only complaint, like I said there, is I wish there was an on-off switch. Just having a battery compartment, it's not so bad, but it's so easy to activate those sounds. So an on-off switch would have been a plus. The only other gripe I have is that I wish it didn't scuff so bad on the hardwood floor there, but again, it's not really meant for that, so it might be my own fault for trying it. So there's your warning, guys. Don't do this on a hardwood floor. Now, if you did not already pre-order the Back to the Future 2 hoverboard, it will be going on sale on December 3rd, 2012, only on MattyCollector.com. Now this is going to be limited quantities, so if this is something that you want, you better make sure you go there on December 3rd and order it before it's sold out forever. So, there you go guys. There's a look at the Back to the Future hoverboard. Until next time.